All right. What's going on? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is the live stream that I've now been doing for back-to-back days. Did it a couple weeks ago. Yesterday went really well. We went for around 40 minutes. Might not go as long today, although I always say that. The video is uploading. It's around 30 minutes. I'm sorry for the people that think that 30 minutes for a two-game slate is too much. I just can't keep track of time. I mean, I could set a timer on my phone, but that's not fun. So yeah, the video is uploading. I'll let people file in. We had like 40 people early in the morning. It's a little later today. Yesterday we were up live streaming around 7:30. Now it's 8:10, so not really much different. What's going on, Chris C? How you doing? Already got people in here. Yeah, I really wanted to do a live before lock type show last night, but I just couldn't get around to it. I was in my room ready to do it, like from my actual apartment, which I never really do. I'm on a campus right now, or I'm in a room on campus, but I just didn't get around to it. I was a little tired doing already a show and a stream on the day. I wish I could have. I really should have. It was a pretty good slate to break down, but we have one tonight. Better games, I think, just in general. I think Golden State and Houston just outweighs that. No matter what slate they're on, it'll make it better games. So yeah. What's to come later today? I'm very excited for Wells Fargo Championship, Wells Fargo Open this weekend. That should be good. I'm going to be making a golf video probably later today. You think the Greek Freak going to bounce back? Yeah, I do. I think it's easy for him to bounce back today because he played so pitiful in game one, but I mean, a lot of credit due to Al Horford, right? Al Horford was just absolutely phenomenal in that last game. But yeah, I think the Greek Freak is one of the better spots. Here's the thing. When a new series in the playoffs starts, and this is like the last series that's going to be good for DFS because then it's just all showdowns, and that's when all you degenerates just blow all your money. But no, just kidding. But yeah, when a new series starts, game one, people overreact to. And just look at yesterday. I mean, as recent as yesterday, everybody overreacted to it. They thought the Sixers sucked. And the Sixers, I mean, for the most part in fantasy, outside of a Jimmy Butler, who we were very much in favor of, outside of a Jimmy Butler, the Sixers didn't do great. James Ennis, sure. You got him for value. He did fine. I think he scored like 26 points. But people overreacted to it. They didn't want no Sixers. We've seen this already with Kyle Lowry. We've seen this with Ben Simmons in the first round. I think people are going to overreact to it. We've seen this with Giannis. People wanted a lot more of, instead of Giannis, who was in foul trouble the game before, not talking about this past game, but in the first round, was in foul trouble, only scored like 40 fantasy points. Then people didn't want any of him. Everybody was on James Harden. And then Giannis went for 70 fantasy points. So, look, I'm not saying he's going for 70 fantasy points today, but he's $10,000. This slate has a ton of other options. It has $7,900 Steph Curry. It has $9,100, who's still dirt too cheap at $9,100 even. Like, Durant should be close to 10K at this point if he's going to play 42 minutes and he's going to average ridiculous numbers. You still have Kyrie, who's still in a fine spot, a little bit of a tougher matchup individually, but he's kind of matchup proof at this point in these playoffs when he's just a master and a wizard with the ball. And then you obviously have James Harden for $100 more. So it makes it really hard to get to Giannis. But if we're talking about lower ownership, yeah, it's coming for Giannis today. And partially is because of all those players just being available at more favorable probably price points, just relative to what they've been doing as of late, and also matchup. But also because of the last game. There's so much negative press right now on Giannis. I love this. This is the thing that makes no sense to me. It's the playoffs now, so obviously more eyes are on these players. But now all of a sudden Giannis can't shoot. We've known that all season long. Giannis is not a jump shooter, right? He doesn't have a jump shot because he's a 4. He's a 7-foot freak of nature. He strides 2 lanes and he dunks on the rim, right? And that's obviously not his only thing that he's good for. But he is not a shooter. So I don't know why people find the need now to just criticize Giannis as being a terrible shooter. He's never tried to be a shooter. When he shoots and if he takes 20 shots in a game, there's a 90% chance that 90% or more of those shots are within like 8 feet to the rim, right? He'll shoot three-pointers, and believe it or not, since the new year, since the start of January, Giannis is shooting above average in three-point attempts. You can go on NBA Advanced Analytics, and you could add it all up. He's shooting above average since the beginning of the new year. So the Giannis can't shoot thing, I think it's a very lazy take. I think that people who don't watch the regular season and just know the name Giannis are now watching the playoffs, and they're like, this guy's good. This guy can't shoot. Like, come on, we know Giannis's game is not shooting. Did Shaquille O'Neal shoot jump shots? Did he shoot 20-footers? No. I mean, obviously Shaq's a totally different player from Giannis as well. I mean, he's a center. Giannis is a hybrid 4-3. But still, the point is taken. I think that Giannis bounces back today. I don't think that means he scores 70, but I think that he scores more than whatever he did last game, like 40 or 37. I think that Giannis scoring 50 today is not out of question. Al Horford's still going to be defending him and probably still playing great because Al Horford is just an incredible defender, and he knows how to stop guys like Giannis and Embiid because pretty much he's patient, right? He won't bite on pump fakes. He won't get in foul trouble. He won't give them free shots at the line. But Al Horford played a game out of his mind in the last game. It was probably his best performance ever. I don't think that Al Horford at least on back-to-back days, I don't think it's as realistic to say that he's going to do what he did in the last game as opposed to saying that he won't. It's a very tall task to ask to limit Giannis that much and doing it in back-to-back games. I don't think that's realistic, just personally. I think it's possible. I just don't think it's realistic, and I think too many people are going to think that that is the more favorable outcome, that today Al Horford goes out there and he blocks Giannis 3 times again, and he steals the ball from Giannis 2 more times, and he just goes bonkers on offense and he locks Giannis down. That could happen again. I just don't think it's realistic that it happens back-to-back days. Realistic meaning, not that it's not possible, realistic meaning that it's the favorable outcome. So that was long-winded, but that's just my explanation. Brandon Fields, the longer the videos, the more content you give us to winning night. So I say stay long-winded. Yeah, Brandon, thanks. I'm not even like trying to just like filler. I'm not like sitting here being like, how can I get 5 more minutes out of this video and fill this content out? No, I'm just talking. The Italian New Yorker in me leads to talking a lot sometimes, but that's just how it goes. If the video is 30 minutes, and I don't know how long the video is until like I'm done and I click stop and then I put it into Final Cut Pro, which is the editor, and then I see how long the video is. I have no idea while I'm going. So a lot of the times I usually think it's around like 25 minutes. It ends up being like 30. I have no idea. The one time I thought it was like 25 minutes, it was 40. I was like, oh shit, but whatever, right? I just talk, and if it's filler content, let me know. But for the people who think it's too long, I just say, I'm sorry, like, go on a walk, listen to it at work, go to the gym. Like, I'm trying to get it up on the podcast. I have a podcast as well. Just type in Sal Veteran, Spotify, wherever. I don't usually put the daily ones up there because they're only useful. I only get like a certain amount of space per month. I pay like $20 a month and I get like the equivalent to like 20 podcasts a month. So for me to put up just every single NBA slate, 1, it's not realistic unless I shorten them. But 2, it doesn't do too much good for me. Because they're pretty much done like 8 hours later, so they're not going to get as much listens, but maybe I should. It's better than not putting anything up. Yeah, I think he will bounce back, and like you said, people will overreact and he will have lower ownership. Yeah, on a 2-game slate, look, it's hard to get lower ownership on any of these guys, right? And I don't know what the projections look like, and I think it's hard to figure that out this early in the day, but you can be damn well sure that Harden will have higher ownership because Harden played fine in the last game, and he underperformed. I mean, if you just look at his 3-pointer attempts, and part of that is because he couldn't fucking land on any of them. But you have Durant, who's playing probably at this point just point per minute wise better than Giannis, and he's going to play 6 to 8, so probably closer to 8 more minutes than Giannis today, if not locked in for 8 more minutes. So there's going to be ownership there. Steph being reduced in his price at $7,900 is going to have a ton of ownership, or at least I imagine he does. So I think that the guys who are going to be lower owned here are probably going to be Giannis and Kyrie out of those top priced guys. Good info yesterday during the live chat. Scored 310 and came up with 200. Damn, nice job, Christian G. $200 in a night. That's not bad. What's going on, Cam Robinson? Marquise Vincent. What about Steph? Yeah, Steph, 7,900. He's one of the best point per dollar right now on the slate. Some sites have him as the best. I don't go as that far. I have not Giannis. I have James Harden has a better point per dollar. Steph right now is a great play. There's no question. So here's the thing. Steph 7,900. I have him projected for 47 fantasy points. KD's 9,100. He is projected for 53 right now. So there's a 6-point difference, or he might be projected for 52. Whatever. It's a 5 or 6 point difference, but you're saving $1,200 by going to Steph. You can get both of them if you want. So yeah, Steph's fine. Like, it's obvious that Steph's fine, and the fact now that he's $7,900 is going to get a lot of people on him. And there's a thing in psychology in general, like the brain, the human brain, tapping into it. There's a lot of things that affect it. In terms of DFS, it's actually crazy to think about it if you step back and think. But one big thing that actually affects it is when a guy is $7,900, people think that he's now all of a sudden 100 times better of a play than when he's $8,000. Just like when something is $9.99, it just seems that much cheaper than when it's $10. So in terms of that, yeah, Steph is a good play, but I think if the ownership comes in and he's just overly owned, yeah, I'm easily going to go to Kyrie, without question. I'll go down to Chris Paul if the ownership is that much different. Video shared, we can now edit it, cool. So I love Steph today. Like, he's like the cover boy of this live stream right now. But if he was $8,000 or $8,100 today, does he get as much love? Probably not. I think he's still in a fine spot, and the fact that he's a little cheaper is good, but we have to see what the ownership looks like. I imagine it's going to come up a ton. Who do you think has the best value on the slate? So it depends. Like, what are we saying value-wise? Point per dollar? I think it's Harden. And now you're probably going to be like, what the hell, Sal? It's not value. But if we're talking point per dollar, $10,100 James Harden, a guy who was in the 11K price range all season long during the regular season, I've been projected for 62 points. That's 6.2x. He's the best overall point per dollar play. If we're talking really cheap, I like Nikola Mirotic, $3,500. Have him in for 20 minutes today. I'm very bullish on Nikola Mirotic's projection today. I have him projected for 22 fantasy points. If you go to any other site that you're looking at, he might be projected for 16 or 18. Look, if this guy's going to be out there for 20 minutes and they might go to him a little bit more, his skill set matches up a little bit better against Boston. He's a 1.1 fantasy point per minute guy. Now, a tough matchup probably reduces that. Let's be very aggressive and say it reduces it to 1 fantasy point per minute. If he's going to continue to play 20 to 21 minutes as he has in the past 2 playoff games, and I think this is the reason they got him, you don't trade for a guy to not play him in the playoffs at all. Look, if you're only going to play him for 20 minutes, sure, but you have to play him for those 20 minutes then. And I think he starts to get unleashed a little bit more. Maybe that's only 24 minutes, but I'd rather have Nikola Mirotic on the court than Ersan Ilyasova, at least in my opinion, especially in this series. No, I've never done a crypto video, Ayo. Didn't you do crypto, like cryptocurrency? No, I've never done a video like that. So yeah. Who do you think is the best value on the slate? Yeah, so Nikola Mirotic at the very low end. I think Marcus Morris at 4,200. He's starting now. I don't know if people saw the starting lineup in the last game. Marcus Morris is starting. We kind of projected that. He's going to play 30 to 32 minutes, and he is starting at the 4, closer to the rim. He's 4,200. His price came down. So Nikola Mirotic on the super cheap end, I like as a 3K guy. 4K guy, I like Marcus Morris. 4,300, you could still go to Tucker. A lot of people are going to jump off of him. It is a tougher matchup than the Utah series, but it really just comes down because you're going to be guarding Durant the whole game. And really his focus is on defense in that series, or in this series, not as much as offense, so that's scary. But Tucker at 4,300 is still in play. I do prefer Marcus Morris there. And then in the mid-tier range, you have a very cheap Eric Bledsoe at 5,800. You have a very cheap Jason Tatum at 5,500. A little bit higher. These are all your values. I'm giving you them by the range. And then a little bit higher, Steph, too cheap at 7,900. And then really everybody above that is too cheap. These 2 game slates, they're pricing down all the studs. James Harden, too cheap at 10-1. Giannis, too cheap at 10. I can name every single guy. Durant's too cheap at 9,100. Ayo, fade Horford. $6,800 Horford is fine still. You can play him. I'm probably going to have a lot less Horford today. You have to take stand somewhere on a 2-game slate. I think a lot of people are going to be overly on Horford, and if I'm somebody who wants to be a little bit more on Giannis today, which I don't know yet, this is just early in my early thoughts, then that means that I think he's going to get the better part, or at least a little bit more favorable on Horford today, which means Giannis plays better and Horford maybe plays a little worse. Giannis crapped his pants last game. What do you think about him today? I like him. I like him because, look, there's so many good stud options. You don't need Giannis. But if he's going to be one of the lowest owned out of those top 5 stud options, you're talking Kyrie, Steph, KD, Giannis, and Harden, yeah, I like Giannis. It's extremely hard to get away from Harden today. At 10-1, pretty much the same price, and you know that he is not going to have nearly as hard as a matchup, and have him projected for like 6 or 7 more fantasy points. So, yeah, I like Harden more. Like, his value is just incredible, but his ownership is probably going to match that. I have no problem going to Harden and Giannis if you can fit it today. I think there's some value pieces that you can do it. I don't think it's necessary. So, on this slate in general, in a vacuum, I like Giannis. $10,000. Going to have a lot lower ownership today. Everybody thinks now all of a sudden that Al Horford is the best defender of all time. He's a very good defender. He took Giannis's lunch in game 1. But do you think Al Horford, which that could have very well been his best game ever, like that might have been, in terms of situation, in terms of the defense he played, and also the offense that he played, that might have been Al Horford's career best game. Maybe I'm blowing that out of proportion, but I don't think I am. Do you think that he's going to have a career-type game in back-to-back games against one of the best players on the planet in Giannis? You don't think Giannis is going to adjust? I think a lot of people are overreacting. Giannis can come out and score 48 fantasy points. You might not need him because Harden can go for 65, he can go for 55, and you don't need Giannis. So in terms of the slate, there's so many studs that I don't think Giannis is necessary today. But I think he's a lot better play than people are leading on. If Giannis goes for 65 today, he's going to be needed in a winning lineup, and not as many people will have him as they should. So I like James Harden more today. And then I probably like Giannis just because of ownership, but it's tough, right? Again, if KD goes for 50 to 55 and Harden goes for 60 plus and Steph goes for 45 plus, you probably don't need Giannis unless he goes bonkers. But yeah, in a vacuum, I love Giannis. In terms of the slate, I like James Harden more, and then it gets tricky. I think you're being very contrarian if you play Giannis and Harden today. How about Capella? Bounce back game? Yeah, Eric. So I talked about this in the video at length, and I'll probably edit the video now. Capella, $6,000, way too cheap. He's an incredible tournament play. I hated him to start the day because 27 minutes, I don't think his minutes are going to come up that much. But he can play 30, right? And this is not a guy who plays huge minutes anyways, but I don't think you're going to see 34 minutes out of Capella. Golden State started Draymond at the 5 and KD at the 4, and then they started Iggy at the 3, right? That's what they went. They went with the Hamptons 5 lineup. They played 25 minutes together, the most out of any lineup for Golden State in that game. The next closest was 4 minutes. So that lineup, that rotation of 5 guys played 25 minutes together. The next best rotation in terms of minutes played was 4. So they're going to run that lineup out there. That's not a good matchup for Capella. Draymond Green is a nightmare matchup for Capella. Capella is a guy who has to stay next to the rim, and he'll guard you pretty much straight up, right? He cannot run out. He cannot follow Draymond around. Draymond's not going to just stand by the rim. He's not a center, right? He's a hybrid. He's going to go out to the three-point line. He's going to set picks and stay at the three-point line. He's going to dribble with the ball, and he's going to go at Clint Capella. That is a bad matchup for Capella. Capella only saw 27 minutes. Not because he got in foul trouble, because he didn't. I think he only got 2 personal fouls, but because it's a terrible matchup. But if Capella plays 27 minutes, 28 minutes, he can still go for 40 fantasy points, right? So I think he's a great tournament play. That's about it, though. $6,000, I think you can get there pretty easily. I think he's a great tournament play. I like Draymond for $600 more, a lot better though. Draymond's going to play at least, probably on average, most nights 10 more minutes than him, and he just has triple-double upside, which Capella's really one-dimensional with rebounds, doesn't create his own shot, but two-dimensional if you really want to say that he's a good scorer. I don't think he is. All right, let me just fill this out because the video is up. NBA DFS playoff picks strategy. Bang, give it all the words out. All right. What about Hayward? Put up great value last game. Yeah, Hayward's fine. Look, Gordon Hayward, he's going to play 30 minutes off the bench. He's just like a neutral, right? I can't give like a big take. There's not a big take to give. He's going to play 30 minutes off the bench. He's priced at $5,200. For you to need him, he has to score 30 fantasy points, and he can. I'd say he scores in this matchup 30 fantasy points off the bench 20% of the time, 1 out of every 5 games. So he'll do it once or twice in this series, right? I think that's realistic to think. So Hayward, it's just neutral for me. 5,200 I think is better than playing Eric Gordon today, who just went off in the last game and everybody's going to jump on him. I think it's better than playing Gordon, but I would rather Marcus Morris for $1,000 cheaper than Gordon Hayward, and he's actually starting and he's playing at the 4. But yeah, Gordon Hayward's fine. I just think there's better options. But again, if you land on Gordon Hayward as the last guy in your lineup, I'm not going to say, oh, that sucks. I'm just very neutral to that. There's a good amount of guys that are neutral to it. Gordon Hayward, though, is the only guy in this entire slate, or on this entire slate. He's probably the only guy that has any type of appeal off the bench out of all 4 teams, right? He's going to play 30 minutes. Who else is going to get that run? You're going to get Daniel House playing 20, and he's a bum. In Golden State, you're going to get nobody off the bench, like literally nobody. All the starters for Golden State are playing pretty much 40 minutes outside of Iggy, who's playing mid-30s. And then you look and you try and go to Milwaukee, and you get a couple guys playing 20 minutes off the bench, right? You have either Ersan or Mirotic today going to play 20 minutes off the bench, and Pat Connaughton should play around 25. But in terms of being 30 minutes off the bench, nobody outside of Gordon Hayward. So he's the best bench option today. But I think there's better starters. But yeah, that's like the take. It's kind of neutral for me at least. What about Baynes? Patrick Johnson. Yeah, Baynes is not in play. Baynes did not start in the last game. He is dust when he does start. But Marcus Morris is much better equipped alongside Al Horford to guard Giannis in this series. That's why they put Morris out there. He's a much better defender, and he will actually get physical. Aaron Baynes, he's flat-footed. There's not much that he could do. He's slow. So yeah, Baynes is not in play. If Baynes even plays today, he's questionable. If he does play, he's probably going to play 10 minutes. So yeah, I don't want any Aaron Baynes. If he plays, he'll probably play like 12. Draftkings, NBA playoffs, DFS, NBA playoffs, NBA playoff picks. Just throwing random words in there until we get to our limit. There we go. Just bear with me as I finish this up. Yeah, projections are up for DraftKings. I just got to put the FanDuel's projections up, but those will be up pretty much right after this video. Let me just get this stuff in there. 4:30. Today's Tuesday. Bang. Bang, bang, bang. Cool. I think that's it. Let's see how much longer until it uploads. What do we got? Rozier or Hill? Joseph Thomas, I'd go Hill. I imagine you're saying George Hill. I think both are. I can't tell you that they're not in play. It's a 2-game slate, right? You need a Rozier to win the last one. But I'd go Hill just because people are going to over-own Rozier today. Look, Rozier did nothing different in that last game. He got a little more blowout run, so he played, I think, 20 or 21 minutes, and he was just effective in his minutes. He has been playing 18 to 20 minutes all playoffs long. And he finally was very productive. He scored like 1.2 fantasy points a minute, which you're not going to get, especially if this game stays close. Instead of Kyrie playing 34 minutes, Kyrie's going to play 38, 39. So Rozier, if this game stays close, which I imagine on most nights it does, and Vegas projects it to stay close, Rozier is not going to see 20 minutes in this series. He'll probably see closer to 16. And adding in the fact that Rozier in the last game played very well, I want less of him, if not none. I probably put 0 Rozier in any of my lineups. George Hill, the same thing though for George Hill. He's been playing 20 minutes a game. Him getting extra run, I don't know if he saw a blowout run those last 3 minutes of the game. But again, I prefer George Hill. They're very comparable, and Hill should have lower ownership. Eric Bledsoe, question mark. $5,800. Eric Bledsoe is too cheap. He is a top 5 or 6 value at any type of price range on this entire slate. This video is almost done uploading, but let's go back to this. Yeah, Eric Bledsoe's too cheap. Look, Kyrie and this Boston team has held Eric Bledsoe down. The regular season in 3 games, he did not come close to hitting value. Kyrie in the regular season hit value twice against Bledsoe, and then obviously in the last game. But there's no Marcus Smart here. In the regular season, they had Marcus Smart for those games. So that helps Bledsoe a little bit. And overall in this first game, it was just a blowout. So a lot of people are going to say, oh, this first game, Boston dominated them on defense. And they did. And that's how it's going to be the whole series. I throw that nonsense out the window. These NBA teams know how to adjust. This was the best NBA team this season, the Bucks. I mean, obviously the Warriors are out there, but if we're just talking pure scoring differentials, win-loss differentials, things like that. So I think they're going to rebound. I like Bledsoe at $5,800. Again, I haven't built a lineup yet. I don't think I'm going to play NBA tonight. These 2-game slates stink. They're taking all of my money. Just to be completely honest with you, they stink. There's too much variance. I'm probably not playing NBA tonight. I'm going to watch the games because they're pretty exciting games. I wish they started earlier because I'm probably not going to stay up for all of Houston, Golden State. But either way, Eric Bledsoe's fine at $5,800. I don't know how he fits into my lineups. If I'm going with a Steph, if I'm going with a Chris Paul, I don't know. But I think he's fine at $5,800, of course. No problem, Patrick. I think Paul goes off after last game. Yeah, I like Chris Paul. I'm probably saying I like a lot of people, but I don't. He played 37 minutes. If he didn't get thrown out, he would have played 38 or 39, and he's $7,000. He's too cheap. Again, all these starters are going to play close to 40 minutes. It's the second round of the playoffs, especially for Houston now, wanting to get one of these games in Golden State. Yeah, Chris Paul's fine at $7,000. He's going to play probably 40 minutes. If this game stays close, I think my bold call is Chris Paul plays 40 minutes, which he has not yet done all year. Sneaky play of the day, question mark. I don't know, Nikola Mirotic, that's probably my sneaky play. He's dirt cheap. He's probably going to play 20 minutes. I have him projected for 22 points. That's a very high projection, mind you, but I just think that's the way it goes. I think his skill set matches up well, and if he pretty much knocks down 1 or 2 threes, he's going to get you 22 fantasy points. So that's what I'm banking on right there. But no, Nikola Mirotic, sneaky play. You want to talk lower ownership guys. Sneaky play, Pat Connaughton. I don't really want any. Sterling Brown, Brook Lopez. So like those other guys on Milwaukee who nobody was talking about in game 1, and then Milwaukee just gets absolutely shit on. So nobody's talking about them at all. Barely anybody wants to talk about Giannis or Eric Bledsoe. It's really just Middleton. So those guys are fine. But then you talk about the Brook Lopez's, who not a single person will be talking about today. Good. I mean, not a good matchup, but it's a sneaky play. Pat Connaughton off the bench. Again, 25 minutes he's going to see. He could very easily put up 25 fantasy points. Sterling Brown. So those are your sneaky plays. Those other guys on the Bucks, I would say. And then Nikola Mirotic. The guys on the team that nobody wants to talk about and everybody's down on. Those secondary options that could still get there. What are your projections for Bogut and Bell? Oh, God. Patrick Johnson. Terrible. I have Bogut projected for 5 minutes and Bell 0. I don't know. Did Bell play in the last game? I mean, I'll give him 2. But Bogut 5 minutes. Bell played, I think, a couple more minutes, actually. Yeah, none. He played no minutes. So Bell, 0. So 0 minutes, 0 fantasy points. Bogut, 5 minutes and, I think 6 fantasy points. So those are my projections for those guys. 0 minutes and points for Jordan Bell, 5 minutes for Andrew Bogut, and 6 fantasy points. Rivers back in the rotation should see 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah, he should, Raz. So what that means is Iman Shumpert's not going to see any time. I don't think Iman Shumpert plays today. And Rivers plays about 20 minutes, which probably means that he scores 14 fantasy points. In your opinion, is it a good idea to fade Curry for this matchup? I mean, what does fading Curry mean? People say fade Curry. I say fade Curry. Not like I'm saying like fade him tonight. Like I say that phrase. What does that mean though? So what does that mean, Beast Gaming? Are you playing one lineup? Then yeah, you don't need Curry. Are you playing 150? Then you should probably have some Steph Curry in there, even if it's just 10%. So how many lineups are you playing? Is it 3? Then yeah, you could fade fully Steph Curry there. I mean, Kyrie Irving is probably the better play on most nights. If the ownership is the same, I like Steph because he's cheaper. That's actually close. It depends on ownership, right? I can't tell you right now. If Steph is going to be highly owned because his price is now 7,900 instead of 8,000, and people think he's that much of a better play, which I mean he probably is based on projections. If he's going to be that much higher owned than guys like Chris Paul for $900 less, or guys like Kyrie, then yeah, I'll take those other guys. If they're very comparable, I probably like Kyrie more. Curry at 7,900 is too low as well, right? Home slice, yeah, he's too low. He's 7,900, but what's the difference between $7,900 Curry and what was his price the last game? 8,100? Like, what's the difference? I think people think that it's too low because the human brain, psychology. Oh, the price is $9.99 on this toaster. That's way better than if it was $10 flat. It's not. So let's see. He was 8,200 in the last game. So the $300 you're saving off of him, okay, that starts to become a point where, yeah, now his price is down a good amount. But is it really that big of a difference on a slate where the highest priced guys are $10,000 when they're usually $11,500? So I think people are going to overreact to Steph Curry's $7,900 price. Look, he's cheap. He's too cheap for playing 38 minutes, and I do like him tonight. But it depends where the ownership is. If he's going to be coming in as like the second highest owned player on this slate, then yeah, I'll go happily to Kyrie if he's that much lower owned. I personally have Kyrie projected for more raw points tonight, but that should be obvious based on the pricing, right? Kyrie is $500 more. I have Kyrie projected for, I think, 48 and Steph for 47, so that clearly makes Steph the better play, points per dollar, right? He's only 1 point less, but he's $500 less. So I think Steph point per dollar is better than Curry if we're talking real raw points, or I think Steph point per dollar is better than Kyrie. If we're talking, though, real raw points, like actual scoring, I have Kyrie by about a point and a half. Probably 3 lineup, and I like Irving and Durant. Yeah, Beast, I think that's fine. I really have no position right now on a 2-game slate to tell you out of these 5 studs who is the best options. I can tell you what my projections say, but at the end of the day, any of the pairings of them will win. I mean, you're going to have 2 probably tonight to win a tournament, if not 3. But I can't tell you which ones. Otherwise, I'd be making all the money tonight. I think they're all too cheap. They're all too cheap. The only guy who's even close to being appropriately priced tonight is probably none of them. probably Giannis, to be completely honest with you, at $10,000. If Giannis scores 55 tonight, he hits value. But if Harden scores 60, he overshoots value. If Durant scores 50, he overshoots value. If Steph at 7,900 scores my projection of 47, he overshoots value. And if Kyrie at 84 scores 48 to 50, he overshoots value that much more. So they're all too cheap. Yeah. Last one, Sal, I promise. What is your projection for Nene? Nene, I don't know. I think I have him for like 12. I think I have him for 12 minutes. And like 12 or 13 fantasy points. These guys are all dust. Like, I don't think you should be trying to play any of these guys just because Nene played a couple of minutes. I have him for 12 minutes and 9 fantasy points for Nene. That's probably a little low. That's probably taking too much into account defense. He should probably be around 12 minutes, 10.5 fantasy points. Like, these guys are dust. Like, guys that are playing under 20 minutes in a game in the playoffs shouldn't be in your lineups. Like, 20 is that cutoff point for me. You can try and throw your darts with guys playing 17 minutes and hope they go for a point and a half and score 24 fantasy points, but that's the only way they're going to do it. And a point and a half a minute is very hard. That is something that only like 8 to 10 guys in the league actually do on a consistent basis. Why is Greek Freak 10K but Durant is 9,100? Definitely want KD there, right? Oh, wait, hold on. Is there a good projections website before lock that's free? Says Raz. I mean, here's the thing about projections. I have my own projections too, right? Humble brag. Go to Patreon, got my projections. No, I'm just kidding. But no, really. But no, I'm kidding. But anyways, is there a good one before lock that is free? I don't know what you mean before lock. Like updated at a good amount before lock? I'd say go to Roto Grinders. They have a free projection tool. But the thing with a lot of these is a lot of them stink at getting the minutes right. Roto Grinders is pretty good. A lot of them just rely on average or minutes that are as of late. That's not the way to do it. You have to do it by rotation, see what coaches are doing. But also projection systems What's the difference between me projecting KD tonight for 53 and Roto Grinders or Fantasy Labs projecting him for 52 or 54? There's no difference, right? It's just ballparking. It's trying to see where the value lies more so than the actual points. Unless you're playing cash, then projections matter a lot more. Why is Greek Freak 10K? Okay. KD, no, that's the thing. It's ownership. Home slice. KD at 9,100 makes a lot of sense. He could very easily outscore Giannis, but I think too many people are going to overreact. If people don't think Giannis can put up 60 points tonight in what is elevated minutes, he played 34 minutes in the last game and he didn't close the game. Somebody tried to tell me that my prediction that Giannis would play more minutes in this series was wrong. No, it wasn't. He played 34 minutes, which was already more than he played in the first series in any game, and he didn't close the game in the final 3 minutes. Giannis is going to play 36, 37, maybe 38 minutes tonight, and people are going to think he's going to play 32. And you're going to probably see a lot of projection sites saying he's going to play 32, 34. He didn't play the last 3 minutes of the game. If the game is close, Giannis will be out there for the last 3 minutes of the game. I should probably bump his minutes projection, actually, because I think I only have him at 30. What do I have Giannis at? 35. He should be at 36 or 37. So I'm going to do that right now, actually. I'm going to put Giannis at 36, which is low. 36 is low, in my opinion. So maybe I'm wrong. But Giannis playing 36 minutes at 2 fantasy points per minute compared to KD's 42 minutes at whatever. Yeah, they're very comparable, but Giannis is going to be lower owned, without a doubt. So I like Giannis a lot. So I just wanted to say that I enjoy your channel. Nothing better than discussing sports with someone that knows what they are talking about. Thank you, Joseph. I'm happy that I come off as if I know what I'm talking about. What do you think of the Greek Freak in his matchup this series? Yeah, I think he's fine. I think he's one of the best players in the world, and people are overreacting to one game. Al Horford played fantastic. The Celtics defense is good. They could probably limit the Greek Freak for a couple more games, but I don't think it's going to be every game, and I think the time that I want to jump on Giannis in fantasy is when everybody in the world thinks that he now all of a sudden stinks and that Al Horford is the best defender of all time. Although I love Al Horford, I'm just saying this is the time to jump on Giannis. And again, every single type of player, let me do this. Every single type of player who is those top 5 who are 7,900 or above, starting with staff, are in play today. I'm not telling you to go out there and play Giannis. I'm just telling you that he's going to be too low owned for what his skill set says. It's still a brutal matchup, but do you think he's going to average 37 fantasy points throughout this whole series or whatever he scored in game 1? No. People are overreacting to it. He can come out today and score 48. That's clearly better than last time. He pretty much hits value. And that 48 is probably not enough because there's 4 other studs in the slate who have 50 to 60 point upside to 70 point upside tonight. I'm just saying that he is very much equal to all those other guys tonight outside of Harden. Harden is the best point per dollar to me on the slate, having projected for 62 points. He's $10,100. He's too cheap. Those other 4 studs tonight, he is very comparable to all of them. And at least 2 of them are going to be more highly owned than him. I meant ownership projections. Oh, Roz, I don't. Oh, for ownership projections, no. Free, you're not going to get ownership projections for free. And if you do, they're going to be 15 to 30% owned or something like that. It doesn't help you. Yeah, no, there's no free sites for ownership projections that are reliable, at least in my opinion. Ownership projections, I don't know how to do them. I have no idea. I think the only people who actually know how to do ownership projections are Awesemo. There's other sites who do them, but they're just kind of ballparking a range for the most part, and they're usually wrong. So, yeah, I think Awesemo is the only actual people who know how to do ownership. Whatever they have out there, whatever their algorithm or tools that they use, I have no idea what they are. I really don't have any idea. But whatever they do to tag social medias and things to see who's going to be highly owned, yeah, it's incredible. What about Ilyasova at 3.2 on DK? He doesn't play over 20 minutes, but still good and gets close to 20. Yeah, I think he's fine. The video's up, by the way. I'm going to probably end this stream because I got to do some golf today, golf content. Who knows? I'd like to do the golf content, but I'm hungry. But yeah, what about Ilyasova at 3.2? Yeah, he's fine. He's very similar to, and he's cheaper than Mirotic. I like Mirotic more, just minute production per minute production is better. But yeah, Ilyasova could play 17 minutes tonight. He could play 21. He's still fine at 3,200. I prefer Mirotic there. I think Mirotic has a better, I think he has a clearer route to 1 more minutes in terms of just getting up to 22 or 23 consistently than Ersan Ilyasova. And I think he's a better fantasy point per minute producer. And I think they'll both be low owned. They're both fine, though. There's a great chance that you might need one of those to win or a guy in that range tonight to win. And I think those are the 2 best plays in that 3K range. Morning, Sal. I think Boston packed the paint and dared him to shoot. I think KD will have a better fantasy game. That's fair. That's more than fair. Yeah, I mean, that's the way you defend uh, Giannis, right? But I also watched the game, and there was a lot of times when Giannis was 6, 8 feet away from the rim uh, and missing layups. So they were in his head. They were being physical with him. Yeah, they packed the paint, but I mean, he's a 7'3" freak of nature. Like, you can put as many guys in there as you want. It's fine. That's what they did all season long. If his 3-point shooters can hit shots today, it's not just Giannis. If Eric Bledsoe could hit threes, if Middleton continues to hit threes, if Brook Lopez can just resurrect and hit 2 threes, then yeah, they're not going to be able to pack the paint. So that's the way that everybody tries to defend Giannis. Pack the paint. Well, you pack the paint, they got 3, and when Brogdon comes back, they're going to have 4 3-point shooters on the court, and that's how they've won all season long. Shoot decent or above average from 3, and then when people come out and defend you, Giannis can just do whatever he wants. So it's not just Giannis. Like, Giannis's productivity will depend on other people, his teammates, which every player should. I had Harden and Giannis and still lost last game. Yeah, I had Harden and Giannis too. I only entered like 1 or 2 lineups, but yeah, I lost 2 because because Giannis just stunk. Or actually, no, I entered 2 lineups and he was in one of them. Harden and Giannis didn't do good enough for you to win, LOL. The last game? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I didn't win. I entered like 2 lineups and he was in one of them. I admire you for doing what you love to do. Thanks, Aki. Trent, I celebrated early, was so embarrassed. Oh, okay, so not me. Him. Yeah, it's funny. Appreciate it. Literally, this is finals week here at Penn State. I finished last week, so I'm done. Like, I'm done. 5-year grad school program, done. So now I'm applying to jobs in Raleigh for marketing. My degree is in like business strategy, so like HR focused, but I like marketing and I've taught myself a lot of marketing. So that's where I'm looking right now, but would love to be able to do this. I've had 1 or 2 offers for this, like job offers, but in terms of the amount of student debt I have, those job offers for that being my only job and not being able to do YouTube on the side, it's just not enough. 43 people in here. Well, top of the morning to all of you. I'm about to bounce. I will give it 1 more minute, so get any questions you want in right now. What's up? Good luck tonight. Thanks, Anthony. You got in a little late, but the actual video is up right now. 50 people in here now. Wow. So we got a lot of people in here, but unfortunately, I've been live for about 37 minutes. I shot a video that was about 30 minutes long. So it's 8:46. I'm going to go eat some breakfast. I'm going to go shoot around. I've been shooting basketballs for about the past 4 days. It's a ton of fun. Literally just shooting threes. My 3-point percentage is probably like 10%. So no, if I gave myself credit, my 3-point percentage is probably like 20%. I probably make 2 out of 10, 1 out of 5. Yeah, I should keep track. That's terrible. Like, that's really bad, but I don't care. It's fun. What exactly is Tatum's ceiling in this matchup? Probably 40 fantasy points. Probably right around there. Probably like 38 to 40 fantasy points for Tatum's ceiling, but the ceiling becomes much more attractive when he's $5,500. If Tatum was $6,200 today, then yeah, his ceiling relative to his price is not that great. Like, his ceiling is like 6xing. But today, his ceiling is 7xing, maybe 8. Oh, here comes the minutes. Yeah, push the like button. I appreciate it. Did Fareed's minutes go to Tucker? Because he was getting low 10s against Utah and now isn't getting any. No, Fareed's minutes went to Nene, Raz. Nene played like 12 minutes. It was just a direct transfer to Nene. They thought it was a better matchup, I guess. So, yeah, Nene was the guy. Sleeper of the night, Raymond says. It's a 2-game slate. There's no sleepers. I'll be honest with you. Anybody who's in play, everybody knows about. If you want to go really cheap options, Ersan Ilyasova, and actually, there's a sleeper, Ersan Ilyasova and Nikola Mirotic. But you know a guy who's not going to be brought up at all today? Brook Lopez. He's a center only. He wasn't brought up in the first game, and he stunk in the first game. He's playing less minutes. There's your sleeper. I don't think it's a good play. But in tournaments, you have to play guys who are not good plays to win the tournament, especially in a 2-game slate. It's that simple. Also, Pat Connaughton and Sterling Brown are in that same spot. Coming from Australia. Love the daily videos, mate. Thank you, Caleb. Yeah, I'll definitely keep them coming. What's going on, Daniel? What did you say? Keep hooping. Got to stay in shape, fellas. Yeah, so I actually, 2 years ago, I was always running, like nonstop, like running a ton. Like, I was training for a half marathon. Half marathon was a week away. Just ran 12 minutes. Oh, damn, Alex, thank you. Holy shit. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Hold on. I'm going to look at those in a second. I just want to finish this thought. I was 1 week away. I just ran with my friend. We were running it together, our 12 miles, and we ran it at a 7-minute mile pace. It was great. Later that day, got a concussion. Concussion lasted 11 months. Still affects me a little bit today, so couldn't run that whole time. Then, 2 months after I was finally healed from my concussion, got a back injury that lasted about 8 months. So over the past month or so, I've finally been able to start working out again, which has been incredible because I just love running. So this summer, gonna try and do a half marathon again, and just started getting back in the gym and just shooting some hoops. Keep hooping, gotta say in shape. Yep, see you tomorrow. Thanks. Yeah, no problem, Raz. I might be on tonight. Probably not. It's hard to find spaces because it's finals week to do these videos, but I'd love to do, especially since I'm not playing and I don't have to worry about the slate tonight in terms of my own lineups. I might do a little live before lock. I would like to. Push the like button. Yes, thank you, Iceman. Fareed, yeah, push the like button on the video that's out too. Share it with your friends. Fareed isn't getting minutes. Going to Nene and DNP sucks. Yeah, exactly, Icky. Thanks, bro. These videos are fire. Thank you, Daniel. Cool, thanks, man. No problem, Carl. Possible to fade Horford. Yeah, I think it's possible to fade Horford. But again, what does fade mean to you? Are you playing one lineup? Then yeah. I mean, not playing Horford in that lineup is fine. Are you playing 150? Then that's crazy. Are you playing 10? Then I'd probably have like below the field. But again, if you're playing 10 lineups, taking a hard stance is okay. $6,800 Horford is still too cheap in my opinion, but I probably that's a stand that if I played tonight, I would probably take. I would take the stand that Giannis is not going to get dogged again in back-to-back games, and Horford just had the game of his life. Do I think it is realistic for him to come out back-to-back games and pick up five or six blocks and steals and shut Giannis down? He could. I don't think it's a favorable outcome. Thank you so much, Alex. Alex says, holy crap. Alex says, hey, Sal, I ended up winning the 1K Rankum tournament last night. How do you handle bankroll when you are on a hot streak? Wow, that's a great question, Alex. Alex, donating $10. Thank you so much. So he was playing over on Drafters, I believe, Rankum. Maybe I'll have to go over there. He said he's won $1,200 in 4 days. So, Alex, is that profit? Yeah, congrats, for sure. Good shit. Yeah, for sure. How do you handle bankroll? Don't play out of your means. I've done this so many times. I won 5K in the Masters a couple weeks ago, and I just entered a few $500 tournaments, like 2 right after that for baseball. And the one I was like 3 out of cashing, so I just got hit. I just missed out. So don't try and now that you have $1,200, continue to play the same way. Continue, in my opinion, to play 10% of that a night. So play $120. If your bankroll is $1,200, play $120 tonight. Don't put that all into one GPP. You can, like it's your money. You can. But the smart thing to do is to take that 120 and put 20 to 30 of it into GPPs and then 90 into cash if you're playing on DK. If you're playing on Drafters, it's a little different. I really don't know how you go about it, but that's what I would do. I would play 10% of it. Don't try and go out tonight and play $500 or enter a $500 tournament. You can. Like, that's realistically like the way that you bank something big. You play a bigger tournament that's a smaller field. But that's what I would do. Play 10% of it. Way to go, Alex. Yeah, for sure. On a small slate, is it worth it to play the GPP? Alabama Jones. Yeah, you can play the GPP. I'm not. I don't like these small slates. I don't think it's worth it personally, but when they have $100,000 prize pools out there, then yeah, it slowly becomes a little bit more worth it if you do bank one. But it's so hard to be different, and your ways of being different means you have to play shit players, or at least 1 or 2 guys who just aren't great. Otherwise, you're going to split the money with everybody else. So I'm done for the most part. I'll probably end up playing tonight when push comes to shove, but it's taking too much of my money. I've had one night, I have not profited during the playoffs. So like people think that I win a lot of money. I've not profited. Part of that is just improper bankroll, playing the 222 too much. But I'm probably down a few $100s in the playoffs, and I'm just done with it. The one night I made like close to 1,000, like 2 or 3 nights ago, which pretty much pushed me back to even. Last night I lost about 150. And the night before that, I probably lost NBA-wise. I didn't play much. I only played like 2 lineups. So I'm probably down like $200, which for me is great because I was down like 800 until I banked that one a couple of days ago. Great advice. I got on a roll and got broke. Yeah, it's psychological, right? If you get a $5,000 increase to your bankroll, like I did when I came in second in that Masters tournament, it was only a $300 buy-in. So, I mean, I just got a ton of money out of nowhere, but I earned it, right? You went through it and you did it. But then I entered and I just kind of blew away $1,100 in like literally a week. Actually, probably closer to like $1,500 in a week, just taking shots at qualifiers too. But then I settled down and I was like, okay, I'm up 3,000 now from this tournament. I should be up more. But if you do go ahead and you do bank one of those and you win 10K more, then it's a totally different story. So it's obviously not just result based. Like my process in those wasn't, oh, I now have $500. Let's just throw it in here aimlessly. No, like I looked at the contests that I thought were good. Some weren't filling. I looked at my lineup for that night and I was like, I feel good about this. I feel good that maybe I don't win it, but I'm in cash and I miss min cash by like 10 spots. So you do what you got to do. I spend like $4 a night, lol. That's fine. Sal, tonight is your night, says Patrick. Don't say that. You're going to make me throw in 2 or 3 lineups into the 222, and then I'm going to be even more broke. I'm not going to be able to pay rent, guys. I'm going to be living on the side of the streets, trying to live in one of your homes. I spend like $4 a night. Yeah, homeless. That's fine. Just because like I was playing $10 a night at the beginning of NBA season, and then I got like a 6th place finish in the big one, and then I got a couple other smaller tournament wins, and I just built my bankroll that way. And then golf, my first ever golf experience for the Masters. I came in second in a tournament. And here's the thing. I was tied. I was winning the whole time for 10K on the last day. And then I was tied in the last hole. Tony Finau had a bogey. So he had to bogey the last hole for me to win by 0.5. Papa Gates beat me by 0.5. So we were tied. If he birdies or if he pars the last hole, I lose by half a point. If he bogeys, I win by half a point. And it's a $5,000 swing, right? This was my worst beat ever. I was so sad. I won $5,000 and I was so sad, which was like $4,700 profit. But Tony Finau is shooting for par, and it's like a 10-foot putt, and it's at Augusta. These are like the hardest greens to read. Like this is hard. Fucking hits it. Hits a 10-foot putt. I lose by 0.5 points. Terrible. But thank you guys so much. Again, I said I was going to do like 20 minutes, and it's 46. Thank you again to Alex for the donation. I appreciate that. Yeah, there's donations on YouTube, so if you ever do want to donate, I don't want to push people. I feel like that's so shitty. But there's a $sign button down there, so thank you guys. I'm going to end this stream right now. Enjoy the day. I'm going to try and do some research on PGA and get some food. Peace out, gang.